So, good morning, everyone, or maybe good afternoon. Today, I'm going to present a paper which is titled as Synthesis of Audit Quality Indicators, a Literature Review. Myself is Dr. Mehul Chadbar. I'm a lecturer in accounting at Coventry University, UK. Um, so, background coming from the study says that audit quality is measured on the basis of the audit outcome, that is, the audit opinion overall given, or the changes in the reporting of financial statement later on after the completion of audit. So audit quality is influences the stakeholders, including the investors and the regulatory bodies such as PCAOB, which has issued 28 factors so far as an audit quality indicators post SOX in UX. Since then, researchers are very keen to identify various factors that affect and influence the audit quality, which is termed as the audit quality indicators. So my research question in this qualitative study was to identify what are the factors that has been reported in the previous factors that are affecting and influencing the audit quality. So this present study is an academic attempt to identify the factors that affects and factors that influence the overall quality of the audit quality indicators, which has been presented in the previous literatures. Moving to next, my research methodology was first to identify the database from where I can collect the past literatures, which I have selected over here as Scopus and Science Direct because I have an institutional access to this. From that, I have identified the keywords. The keywords was audit quality indicator itself, and I could locate 71 papers from both the sources. My inclusion criteria to carry out the research was where first paper should be in an English language, it should be peer-reviewed journal completely and from the field of business management and accounting, and it should be in a final stage of publication, including those in article in press. I don't want to miss the recent changes in recent factors that has been identified in edit quality indicators. That's why I have also included article in press. Whereas my exclusion criteria was very clear: thesis, working paper, paper in press, and conference proceedings and duplicate papers were excluded from the study. Then I further move on to identifying the right papers for my study. So I could look at 22 papers through content analysis. So for descriptive analysis, I segregate the papers as per year of publication. There were 4 papers each in 2021 and 2018, 3 papers each in 2020 and 2013, whereas 2 papers were identified in article which are in press yet 2022 and 2016. Whereas there was one each in 2017 and 2019, there was no publication in 2014 and 2015, which says that there is continuous involvement of the researchers to identify the factors that influence and factors that affect the AQI. Journals and rankings, there are a lot of journals that has published this article. So there are 11 journals which are 2 stars, there are 9 journals which are 3 stars, and 2 each in 4 star. When I say 4 star, 2 star, 3 star, these are the ABS ranking of 2018 by which these journals has been identified as per the quality. When I read the further paper, I identified the theoretical framework has, there were only 4 papers out of 22 that have used some theoretical framework, which says that agency theory, agent marketing theory, economic theory, and attribution theory to support their factors. Whereas research methodology comes into, people have, researchers have used um, qualitative studies for 5 papers. There are quantitative studies in 15, and some of the researchers have used mixed strategies, that is qualitative as well as quantitative analysis. In order to accomplish their research methodology, they have used primary data such as surveys and case studies, secondary and the case studies. Under primary, they have used the surveys, and the respondent for the surveys were auditors, managers, employees, senior auditors, partners, and so. Whereas for secondary data, they have collected the data from the what I say is the listed companies data, which has been available open access. Whereas some of, with respect to analyzing the data, whether it is primary or secondary, researchers have used content analysis, and many of them have used statistical analysis, especially regression and descriptive statistics. With respect to findings and discussions and the conclusions coming from this, I have kept this presentation very short. I have not covered all the point that has been reported in a research paper, but I'm trying to cover so that I can give the gist of my research over here. So I have identified 6 themes for analysis of identifying the factors that affects AQI and that influence AQI. So under human capital, which is the auditor's characteristics, I have found that auditor's personality trait, such as consciousness, skepticism, professional skepticism, they affect the material judgment and they affect the overall audit outcome. Whereas financial expertise influence the overall audit outcome. I have cited the research paper from where I have taken this. With respect to audit firms' characteristics, audit firms' ranking, their size affect the restatement of the financial statement. Whereas Big Four kind of firm, which is the size of the firm, which influence this the accrual disclosure, or I can say discretionary accrual disclosures of the firm. With respect to audit staff characteristics, I have seen that professionally qualified audit entire staff affects the restatement of the fair value estimates. These are all the audit indicators. Whereas managerial and staff leveraging mechanism, that is allocating the budgets and everything, that influences the AQI overall. Again, over here, I have identified the um, paper from where I have taken this. Moving next is the audit planning characteristics. So audit step formation, the way audit has been planned and the procedure has been planned, that affects the fair value estimates. Whereas audit budgeting influences the overall AQI, such as Brit and Rue, 2018. Whereas respect to corporate governance characteristics or audit-client relationship, one of the paper have identified that audit committee auditors interlocking, where auditors are in constant touch with the audit committee, affects the earning quality being reported. Whereas auditors turnover, that is ratification, influences the material misstatement and abnormal accruals. The last themes that was identified in the research paper, this is disclosures and reporting. Disclosing the audit hours into the audit report has no effect on deviation from analyst earning forecast. Whereas PCAOB, the regulatory body, when its inspection report comes out, that influences the overall quality of the overall audit quality or audit quality indicators of any firm. So these were my findings, and I have tried to summarize this into some kind of like this. So my study concluded that various factors relating to characteristics of auditors, such as personality, audit firm, for example, firm rank, audit staff, such as their qualification, audit planning, that is the audit steps, and auditors client relationship, such as audit committee and auditors involvement to monitor the quality, and reporting and disclosures that affects and influence the overall audit outcome. So far there have been many factors that have been listed in the literature. You can refer my paper, which gives you an extensive tabular detail, which will help you to understand how people have, how researchers across the um, publication have disclosed this. And also what I did is also I have reported the audit quality indicators where previous researchers have used in order to identify the quality of AQI or AQI indicators, such as discretionary accruals, restatement, earning quality, deviation from analyst earning forecast, material misstatement, fair value estimates, and judgment. Thus, all the AQRI be taken as a variable for the study to confirm the effect and influencing the audit quality. Whereas there is every research has some limitation, and my study also has. I have used only 22 papers to only 2 database. There was no established framework that I have followed, but it is as per my thematic analysis which I have analyzed, and that's why my biasness would be there for classifying the factors. Whereas identifying the gap of any literature review like this will help me to understand my future avenues for this research. So there could be future scope to compare the inter-country AQI framework, comparing industries sector-wise, or comparing large, medium, and small size firms from the same or a different countries. These are my references, some of the references which I have used in my paper. Thank you so much. Um, you can refer my paper in a full length, and that will help you to understand in more detail how or characteristics affects the AQI of any firm. Thank you so much for listening me.
Hello, everyone. This is Monica Painker, Associate Professor at St. Gonzalo Garcia College. The title of my paper is India at 75, Charging the Future by Paving E-Lanes for Electric Vehicles. The flow of my presentation will be as follows: Introduction, review of literature, statement of problem, objectives, scope of study, key findings, recommendation to the government and EV industry, limitation, and of course, the references. Post liberalization, the Indian automobile industry has taken rapid strides of progress. It has traveled miles of rough terrain from restrictive and protective to the liberal and open economy. The sector is rightly addressed as a sunrise sector and it is growing. In the past few years, the automobile industry has experienced drastic changes and numerous government initiatives which has brought the country to leading position. India at 75 witnessed the Indian passenger car market valued at $32.70 billion in 2021 and is expected to reach a value of $54.84 billion by 2027. The sector will register a CAGR of over 9% between 22 and 27. There are few review of literature. According to Goel and co-authors, consumers are concerned with the availability of maintenance mechanism post purchasing the vehicle. Dua and co-authors believe that India will miss the 30% target by 2030. And Motwani feels that policies need to be framed to discourage the purchase of gasoline vehicles. Statement of problem. Though India has adopted electric vehicle as its future mobility option, it is lagging behind other countries. It is reality that electric vehicles have not got the desired impetus. The paper is an attempt to study electric vehicles in the context of the Indian market and intends to highlight the barriers to identifying uh, our mission of electrifying India. The objective of the paper are to study the advantages of adopting electric vehicles and to understand the hindrances to the adoption of electric vehicles in India. The study is an attempt at exploratory research which is based on required secondary data. Data was collected from journals, magazines, newspaper, media reports, government and other website, keeping into consideration the objective of the study. Scope and significance of the study. The paper is an attempt to explain the challenges and point out the opportunities for adopting EVs on a massive scale. The paper is relevant in the context of India's commitment to reducing carbon footprints. Key findings. Electric vehicles have low running cost as they have fewer moving parts as compared to traditional internal combustion engine vehicles. Secondly, charging an electric vehicle is cheaper than refueling ICV with petrol or diesel. The cost of electricity can be reduced considerably if renewable sources are tapped, like the solar energy, for generation of electricity. Zero tailpipe emission is a priceless advantage of the switch to electric vehicles. Secondly, the electric vehicles do not have gears. So it's a driving experience. It is more convenient to drive. In absence of controls and only accelerator, brake, and steering, it's an amazing driving experience. It will also cut down on noise pollution and our imports of oil can come down drastically. India enormously relies on import for nearly 85% of its domestic oil consumption and disburse one third of its total import values on crude oil alone. The country has a massive need for 5.5 million barrels a day. So this can really prove a priceless advantage if we switch to electric vehicles. But despite the various schemes for augmenting the sale of electric vehicles, Indian consumers are apprehensive about the shift, and the mission electric vehicles have not met the desired success. And this is also depicted in this chart. Have a close look at the charts. The two-wheelers, electric two-wheelers, it has grown from 1,981 units in 1718 to 5,25,013 in 22-23. Well, this is a modest growth, but look at the four-wheelers. In 1718, we had sold only 2,433, and it has grown to only 31,737. So, a lot has to be done in this sector. So E-lane, it is a rough terrain, no doubt. Indian consumer is price sensitive and cost remains a topmost concern for an Indian buyer. There are many incentives offered by the state and central government, but are applicable to a certain number of vehicles. After a certain saturation point, buying electric vehicles become no more lucrative. The lithium battery in electric vehicles can hardly last for 8 years, and after its decay, there is no option left for a user but to discard it and buy a new battery, which cost exorbitantly. The electric vehicles is quite immature in India and it is at infant stage. The technology as well as the makers are new. To make a complicated product like an automobile with perfection at the first attempt is next to impossible. Seasoned players like the Revolt Motors and Tata Motors also had to update their vehicles several times after customer reviews and feedback. Therefore, buying EVs from companies' first batch of creation is risky and it can give a bad experience. One of the pressing concern is the tremendous demand for electricity. Tremendous demand. How are we going to meet this tremendous demand for electricity? Are we going to depend on fossil fuels? This is too risky. The fossil fuel dependence will create additional problems which will add to our woes. Several EVs are catching fires. We have heard many stories. We have read in newspaper, and this can shake the fate of a prospective electric vehicle buyer. There was a probe by the Indian government on why the electric vehicles caught fire, and it was found that the battery management system was below the standard. There was inefficient venting machine, and substandard quality cells were used, and that caught the fire. Electric vehicle makers took several shocking shortcuts, which endangered the safety of the vehicle as well as the riders. Recommendation to the government: Indian government should not be impatient and rush with its electrifying plans. Diluting the safety norm is a dangerous choice for accelerating EV plans. Strict disciplinary actions on automakers who flaunt the basic safety norm. This is very essential to bring back the lost confidence among the Indian consumers. Also, to increase the penetration of four wheelers, electric four vehicles, the government should undertake extensive campaigns. Recommendation to the EV industry: companies manufacturing EVs should not bypass the safety norms. Companies should spend on research and development in crafting viable and quality electric models. Manufacturing companies of electric vehicles should work for improving the battery range, because battery range is one of the anxiety among the Indian consumers. EV companies should increase the general awareness. More advertisement campaigns should be undertaken in order to market electric vehicles. Limitation of the study: the study is limited to finding the benefits of adopting e-vehicles and identifying the hurdles. Secondary data was used for in-depth understanding, which has its own drawbacks. Undertaking consumers' perception and apprehensions about adopting the cleaner technology is very essential. These are the references of the study. And with this, I come to an end of my presentation. Thank you. The pic is borrowed from this site. Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is Muhammad Ibrahim Sheikh. I am an assistant professor in the Department of Commerce at Jai Hind College. My paper is based upon analysis of consumer behavior and preferences with respect to artificial intelligence induced digital marketing. Now, people will run through on the basics of artificial intelligence. What is artificial intelligence and how e-commerce companies specifically are using them in the digital marketing space, and the main area of the research is how is the consumer reacting on the same. Are they liking it, are they not liking it, what are the preferences, or if they do like it but they require some sort of a change to be made in the use of this technology. So let us start with the paper. A little bit of introduction about both artificial intelligence and digital marketing. First, we'll start with digital marketing. Digital marketing basically, resembles electronic marketing, where marketing happens via certain technologies that are developed electronically. And artificial intelligence is a technology which does the work that is normally supposed to be done by human beings. So marketing has been traditionally, a job that has been undertaken by humans. So they understand what does the customer want. They understand the needs of the customer. They do push sort of a technique to let the sale happen. So how these two subjects have been integrated and have been used with websites is on the websites, and how are consumer reacting to the same will be the core area of the study. So this is the continuation of the abstract, which puts more light on the topic. Uh, in order to understand the topic, I am giving examples of some contemporary technologies that are used with respect to artificial intelligence and digital marketing. We have all seen Lenskart, using facial recognition feature in order to project which frame will look best on a person's face. Another technologies that has been used very widely, and it has a very wide areas of application, is the chatbots. Chatbots are particularly bots who chat with humans and take up the preliminary queries with respect to the service that has been provided, or in cases of any grievances. Uh, On the screen, there are objectives of the study. So basically, there are three objectives: to assess the level of awareness the consumers have with regards to artificial intelligence, determine their preferences, and to identify whether the customers actually, trust those companies using artificial intelligence with respect to digital marketing. The particular slide actually touches the two topics: scope of the study and research methodology. Scope of the study is focusing on consumer behavior and preferences with respect to artificial intelligence induced digital marketing. And with respect to research methodology, the primary data was collected through a structured questionnaire. The secondary data was taken from books, journals, and website. The sample unit was general population, the population that is that has resources to purchase things online. The total sample size that were taken was 139 respondents, and the sampling technique was convenient sampling. With regards to the hypothesis of the study, we formulated three hypotheses. The first hypothesis was that customers are aware about the artificial intelligence, or they're not aware about the artificial intelligence. The second hypothesis is whether the customer uh, find artificial intelligence and machine learning useful while doing online shopping, or vice versa. And the third, which touched upon the topic of the privacy and data protection. The third hypothesis was whether the consumers are comfortable with the company storing their personal information, and uh, utilizing that information in order to build better technologies, or they are not comfortable with sharing their own data. Two of the first questions that are presented on the slide, in which the first question was about the gender of the respondents. Out of the total population of 139 respondents, 82 are females, which constitutes 59%, and 57 respondents are male, which constitutes 41%. The next question was about age. So, with regards to age, as it is visible in the pie chart, 47.5% respondents were between the age of 15 to 25, 13.7 for 26 to 35, 11.5 for 36 to 45, and 27.3 for above 45. The next question was the initial was about the initial awareness of artificial intelligence induced digital marketing. So one of the forms of digital marketing which uses AI was that if you search for a product and no, you don't buy that product, but you go to any other website, let's say you search anything else on Google, the ad of the same product comes directly on Google. Or if you go to the shopping website again, the same product is being shown to you again with different sort of discounts. So this phenomena was the first question, in which out of 139 respondents, 92 have said that they have experienced customized marketing very frequently, and 40% have said that they have experienced this occasionally, and 7 respondents mentioned that they have never experienced customized marketing. The next question was made with an intent to know whether people are aware about this phenomena of AI-induced digital marketing. So, with regards to the questionnaire, 71% of the respondent mentioned that they know that artificial intelligence is used in digital marketing, and 29% of the respondent were not aware of the same. The next two questions were whether they have whether when they experience customized marketing, are they likely to spend more. So in this question, 69.1% of the respondents said yes, if they have experienced customized marketing, which is also AI induced digital marketing, they are likely to spend more, and 43% were of the other opinion. The next question was whether when they experience customized marketing, their urge to buy product increases. So here also 59% respondent mentioned that yes, when they experience customized marketing, their urge to buy product increases, and 41% said that this is not in their case. The next question was as a consumer, whether they feel that customized marketing is useful, that it has some benefit that is attached to it. In this question, 84%, 84.2%, which was an overwhelming majority, they answered yes, customized marketing is useful to them, and 15.8% respondent thought of the otherwise. So null hypothesis is accepted in this case, and alternative hypothesis is rejected in this case. Here we have asked the question that whether one of the you essential tool that uses artificial intelligence are chatbots. Chatbots are basically bots who interact with a customer or interact with a prospective visitor for the first time. So here we ask them a question whether they have found chatbots useful or not, or whether they have actually interacted with the chatbots or not. So 37.3% have said that they have not interacted with the chatbots. 37.3% said that they have interacted with the chatbots and their issues were resolved, or they actually liked it, and 25.4% of the people have responded that they have interacted with the chatbot but their issue weren't resolved. On the basis of the chatbot, we also ask them a question whether they actually prefer human intelligence, or artificial intelligence, or a chatbot. So here, as artificial intelligence induced digital marketing is taking away what was traditionally done by human beings. So whether they're actually, people are liking it or not, or what are the people's opinion about it. We have tried to gather it with this question here. Out of 139 respondents, uh, 89.2% believe that they would rather prefer interacting with humans than a chatbot, and 10.8% people were okay with interacting with a chatbot. Um, One of the questions which was related to hypothesis was many a times when artificial intelligence is used, it actually builds itself on the data that is provided by us. So artificial intelligence cannot be used if data is not provided by us. So to use it, company stores the data sometime, also the personal information about the consumer on their servers. So what are the opinions about this to the with the consumer? We have tried to find out with this question. Out of 139 respondents, 67.6% tell that they are okay with companies storing their data, which will be used for our digital marketing, and 32%, 32.4% have actually believed that no, it is a invasion of privacy or a breach of privacy, or their concern if in case something happens, their data will be out in open. So here null hypothesis stands to be accepted, and the alternative hypothesis stands to be rejected. There are many limitations, but the most important ones are listed with the slide. The particular topic is very vast, and more research is needed to form a concrete opinion. From the above research, we have concluded that customers are aware about the AI and its use in digital marketing, and they're also finding it useful since they only see the results that are customized for them. Customers are okay with companies storing their data for the use of AI-induced digital marketing, but at the same time, that data needs to be, the maximum security needs to be maintained, and then the companies in this case are advised to have proper disclosures and also store data responsibly, as the data breaches are very common nowadays. So this marks the end of the PPT. Uh, Thank you, everyone, and once again, thank you, Ismail Yusuf College, for giving us the opportunity to take part in the conference. Thank you.
A very good afternoon to all the participants present today in this conference. We are very thankful for getting the opportunity to present our paper along with all the other delegates. I am Assistant Professor Amba Mehta. I am the author of the research. Along with me, we have Professor Suryakant Patole, who is the co-author, along with Ms. Sapna Pasi, who is a lecturer of Junior College. We are currently associated with Ismail Yusuf College of Arts, Science and Commerce. We would also like to thank our seniors and colleagues for their support during the process of our research. The topic of our research is Study on Entrepreneurial Development in India according to the point of view of Make in India. From the past 75 years, India has seen enormous growth in entrepreneurship, from traditional barter system to various industries established in India as well as abroad by many businessmen and women of India. This would not have been possible without the introduction of economic reforms in the year 1991, which further expanded in the year 2022. However, even with economic reforms, privatization and liberalization, there were still many restrictions of licensing, tax and other lengthy procedures which made the aspiring entrepreneurs hesitant to turn their idea into a business. The Government of India understood the need of entrepreneurship, and in order to boost the economy, the government introduced a new wave of entrepreneurship energy in the form of Make in India. Make in India program was initiated by the government with the core objective of making India a manufacturing hub. This campaign had a lot of advantages for the Indian economy as it attracted various industries from around the world to make huge investment in India with simple rules and guidelines. Apart from Make in India, the Government of India introduced many other frameworks to boost entrepreneurial skills in the young Indians who aspire to become a successful entrepreneurs. While Digital India campaign was introduced with the objective of providing services electronically with the help of improved internet infrastructure, making India digitally empowered in the field of technology. The Stand Up India initiated in the year 2015 with the objective to facilitate credit to women entrepreneurs, member of scheduled caste or scheduled tribes belonging from manufacturing, services or trading sector. The objective of our research is to study and understand government's framework to support innovation and entrepreneurs and the challenges faced by them, and to find out what people of India think about Make in India concept to boost economy and entrepreneurship. As you can see, for this study, we have referred various articles by renowned professors and doctorates which are listed here. We discovered that most of the researchers in their study opinion that to boost entrepreneurship in younger generation, right training for skill development is essential. Also, in the reports of Press Information Bureau, statement of Shri Som Prakash, Minister of Commerce and Industry, mentioned in the Parliament session various benefits and advantage of Make in India and how it boosted the economy and developed skills in many young entrepreneurs through hands-on training and experience, improved technology, removal of multiple license and tax procedures, rewarding innovative business, and so on. The method used for this study includes both primary as well as secondary one. While most of the data is from secondary, the primary data is collected through online survey from 30 entrepreneurs, businessmen and professionals from various parts of the country who benefited from Make in India and other programs for entrepreneurship. The technique of data collection is exploratory cum descriptive. While primary data is collected from the survey, the secondary ones are collected from few websites and articles of other researchers. The only limitation of our study is that the sample used for the research might lack fair representation of the universe and much dependent upon the respondents' cooperation. As for the finding, we have National Expert Survey of 50 countries in which India is positioned 10th among 50 participating countries, which not only showed the strongest areas of India as well as the areas where it needs improvement. Coming back to the survey, our respondents are from both genders belonging to all category of ages, while most of the sample belong to the age group of 21 to 30 years of age. While 64.5% of respondents were aware of government initiatives for entrepreneurs, other 35.5% had no or very little knowledge about the campaign. As we proceed with the interview of our respondents, it is noted that 93.5% among people who are aware of the program believe that the program support innovation and will boost entrepreneurship in India. Whereas 84% of them believe that Make in India has the potential of transforming India into a manufacturing hub. It is clear from our record that a large number of people are confident that Make in India program has greatly impacted the country's business ecosystem. With this, we came up with the conclusion that Make in India has the potential to generate employment and inculcate skills in younger generation aspiring to be successful entrepreneurs. The effort of Government of India to boost the economy is laudable, but there must be more efforts in the area of marketing and promoting such campaigns, as there are large number of people who are still unaware of the benefits and advantage of Make in India and other campaigns provide. With that, I would like to conclude the session. We have referred various articles, journals, and websites which are listed here. Thank you for your kind attention and cooperation. All three of us tried our best to justify our research objectives. We hope you liked our efforts.
Good afternoon. This is Miss Manali Churi, and I'm going to present on the topic Study the Effects of Cartoon on Children's Behavior and Mental Growth. My co-author, Mrs. Gargi Ganesh Sawant, will take over the presentation part from the data analysis slide. Currently, we both are working in St. John College of Humanities and Sciences, which is in Palghar. As we all know, that children are like a damp cement. We can mold them like we want to mold. Now, so many couples are living in a nuclear family, and that is the main reason why children are facing issues in their mental and behavioral growth. Now, most of the time, children started imitating their favorite character, and parents are thinking that why that particular child is imitating that particular character, but they are not seeing that the reason behind it that they themselves. If any particular child started crying, parents immediately give mobile phone. They on the TV and they tell that particular child that okay, you watch the cartoon. And that is the main reason, because the parents are not giving that much priority to that particular child, and that is why children move to engage themselves, and they move to watch that particular cartoon, and they engage themselves to imitate that particular favorite character of a cartoon. Then we can say that cartoon not only control their behavior, but it also affect on their mental growth, because that particular child started imitating that particular character of that cartoon. I'm not saying that, or we are not saying that the imitating is only in a negative way. It can be in positive way also. So many children are imitating their favorite character in a positive way also, but there are so many cartoons which shows abusive languages, and that is why some of the children adopt that abusive language also, and they use that language in their daily life. Now we have added so many references, and from so many books we have gone through, and from that papers which we have gone through, we just have taken this review of literature part. In this particular slide, we only have added three references only, and among rest of the links we have added in our research paper. So, according to the survey which has been done by Yusuf, Dr. Zahid, Shehzad Munham, and Hazan Ali, they are saying that they have studied the different age group which are having different watching time and their favorite characters, and how the particular age group children affect the particular how it affect their particular cartoon's character on their mental ability and their decision making power. Now, research objectives are to understand the influence of cartoons on the children's behavior, and the second research objective is to examine the influence of cartoon on the children's mental growth. And these two are the hypothesis sets which we have taken: null hypothesis and alternate hypothesis. Now, I request Mrs. Gagi Ganesh Savan to take over the next part.
Good afternoon. In this current slide, we have used qualitative research design. Cause and effect method has been used to study the effect of the cartoon among the children. Total 200 samples have taken between the age group of 6 months to 10 years and above, and we have used chi-square test for data analysis. It is clearly visible that we have taken total 4 age groups, that is 6 months to 2 years, 2 years to 5 years, and 5 years to 10 years, and last 10 years and above. From this pie chart, it is visible that 40% the children among the age group of 10 years and above watches cartoon maximum time. In the second pie chart, it is clearly visible that children watches cartoon more than 2 hours daily. 37% children are watch daily to more than 2 hours cartoon. For chi-square test, we have used cross tabulation table in which we got the frequency of actual count and the expected count. Here, our test is valid because of expected count is very less than actual count. In the next table, we have clearly seen that uh, there are the result of the Pearson chi-square test value, that is alpha value is 11.09 and degree of freedom is 6, where p value is 0.086, which is more than 0.05. It's a standard or significant p value. It means what? Our null hypothesis is expected and alternative hypothesis is rejected.
In this slide, we conclude that children between the age group of 10 years and above, they spend maximum time daily to watch the cartoon, but still there is no negative impact on the children. Like majority of parents or majority of children has uh, gave us an feedback that there is no negative impact on their health and on their mental health. As we can see that it means what, that children between the age group of 10 years and about 10 years, they are even after watching cartoon on a daily basis maximum time, some of the children show a very positive response, like they imitate their favorite character, they dance like their favorite character, they do act, they sing like their favorite character. It means what, the children are actually watching the cartoon which is not bad, which is actually a good cartoon. So from this entire survey or from this entire paper, we just have concluded that there is not completely negative impact on the children's mental and physical growth. And we just want to give some kind of suggestions to the parents, like parents should see what exactly children want, because they are the children, they need some kind of love, they want to feel safe with the parents, and that is why parents needs to give at least 1 hour or half an hour on a daily basis for their children. These are some references which we have added. So that's it from our side. Thank you so much.
Good morning, one and all present here. Myself, Pooja Galipalli from Tolani College of Commerce, studying in second year BAc. Today, I am going to present our research topic, a study on India's central bank digital currency, that is CBDC or e-rupees, and people's opinion on it. So let's start with the introduction of CBDC and its working. On 7th October 2022, RBI has introduced a concept of CBDC. It is defined as a legal tender in an electronic form. The main motive behind this is to reduce involvement of third party during online payment and to provide financial security to their users. CBDC will be useful to exchange goods and services. It can be also called as government-backed digital currency. CBDC is an initiative by the central bank to make all the transactions safe and secure and in a legal way to reduce the risk of fraudulent activities during the settlements of payment. Let's look into the working of CBDC. So how it will work? This e-currency will move from one person's wallet to the other person. So first a user needs to draw CBDC currency from the bank, and should keep in their wallet, which is basically their mobile phone. And when he or she will make a payment in a shop or any other individual, this e-rupees will move from his or her wallet to the other person's wallet. It is just like a cash transaction. A third party cannot find out to whom the money has been transferred. Let's see the hypothesis of the study. So H0 hypothesis is people are not aware about the CBDC. H1, people are aware about the CBDC. So objective for this study was to study the working of study the working of central bank digital currency, to know the opinion of local people about the CBDC, and to study the difference between the CBDC and UPI. Next comes to the review of literature. The Hindu newspaper on 2nd November 2022 has presented an article on CBDC and stated that CBDC is going to be a major transformation in the way of doing business, and RBI has said that CBDC is a digital representation of a physical currency, and it is a legal tender in an digital form. And next comes to the methodology. So we have collected data from primary sources and secondary sources. Primary data is collected using questionnaire method, where we have prepared a Google form and collected responses. Secondary method was data was collected from articles and others research papers who has published their research on this topic, and some websites. The sample size. The sample size for our study was 107 active responses, and these responses has been used effectively for our research. Limitations. As this research was conducted to get a brief information about the CBDC, so it is confined to a limited area and also to a limited age group, that is 18 to 40 years of age, and our research was conducted in a shorter period of time. Only descriptive statistical tools were used to analyze the responses of the respondents. Significance and importance of this study. So this study is important so that people can understand the concept of CBDC, its working, and also to understand the advantages it will provide to their users, and to know the pragmatic shift in payment in the future and its impact on the local people, helping to learn how digital currency will become the future method of payment, and also and also to help individual in understanding why it is important to make a secure payment in this digital world. So next comes to the data analysis. So we have prepared a set of questions, around 7 to 8 questions. So first question was about, are you aware about the e-currency issued by RBI? So majority, that is 52.3%, said yes, they are aware about this currency, and 20.6% said no, while 27.1% said somewhat they are aware. Second question was about, do you think e-currency is different from UPI? So around 41.1% said yes, they said that it is different from UPI, as UPI involves third party while making transactions or any payment. This currency does not involve any third person, and our data is safe with the government. No third party can view our data, and around 17.8% said no, and 41.1% said maybe it is different from UPI. Third question was about, will you prefer e-currency over physical currency once introduced? So majority, that is around 48.6%, said yes, they will use this currency as it is safe and secure, and no third party can view our data, and it is earned data, and our data is secured with the government. So 18.7% said no, and 32.7% said maybe. Next question comes to, which benefits do you think will help India to adopt e-currency? So around 76.6% said due to its safety and security, India will adopt this e-currency. 60.7% said due to its convenience, and 57% said due to paper accountability. This digital currency use of this digital currency will reduce the printing cost of the government. So they will adopt this currency due to paper accountability, and the data will be maintained in an digital form. And 12.1% said other reasons. Next comes to the suggestions part. So, the government should implement proper and effective programs and schemes to make the people aware about this currency. If and people should use this currency because it will reduce their transaction cost, and it will help the government to reduce the cost of printing notes. And people should use this currency because it is easy to use as well as your data remains secure with the government. With this, I would like to end my presentation. Thank you.
Hello. Good morning, one and all. I, Professor Smriti Vasavda, is going to present a research paper on perception about newly launched CBDC by RBI in South Mumbai region, along with my co-author, Professor Vineet Upadhyay. So, CBDC is spread all across the globe in approximately 9 countries. And out of 9 countries, almost 8 countries are located in Caribbean. Nigeria was the first country in Africa to launch CBDC named e-Naira. Apart from this, more than 100 plus countries are already in the stage or are already exploring the opportunities of launching CBDC in near future. Since India is one of the fastest developing economies across the world, it has also launched CBDC at pilot stage to study its impacts and benefits it can offer to Indian economy in coming years. CBDC is launched by the Reserve Bank of India in two types, wholesale and retail. Wholesale transactions were enabled by RBI on 1st November 2022 and retail transactions on 1st December 2022. Retail pilot study is carried out in cities like Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore and Bhubaneswar, followed by different cities of the country. CBDC is a fiat currency in electronic form issued by the central bank. There are various concerns in front of central bank. Since each coin has two sides, similarly CBDC has advantages as well as disadvantages. Talking about the advantages of CBDC, it will help promote formal economy, financial inclusion, reduce settlement risk, and diversified payment options, etc. Talking about the drawbacks or disadvantages of CBDC, it is of a limited usage, or there are concerns pertaining to usage of CBDC by elderly people, creating trust issues amongst users, cyber attacks, privacy of users, accumulation of sensitive information, etc. CBDC, since most of the people have a habit of using hard cash in country like India, is a predominant site for executing transaction. Trust and safety element as far as physical cash is more acceptable to people over decades. It has been observed majority of countries, those who have adopted or those who are exploring options of implementing CBDC, have also concerned about propensity of cyber attacks on higher scale. It may also create a panic among people and in the financial system of the country. Talking about the objective of the study, there are two objectives. The first one is to study the perception of people in South Mumbai region about CBDC. And the next one is to study and analyze the perception of people regarding the risk of cyber attacks. Talking about the research methodology that has been used, the primary data was collected from 62 respondents through Google Form through the survey conducted in the South Mumbai region. The secondary data was collected from various research work already been published by various people and various websites. As I already said, each coin has two sides. This study also has a few limitations. The study mostly depends on availability of true and adequate data provided by the respondents. It also depends on the true and adequate data of the secondary sources. Since CBDC is a relatively new concept, there was a lack of user experience and knowledge, and the topic became very subjective, and the data available was limited in number along with the time constraint. The hypothesis framed was there is no significant difference between various age groups and the perception pertaining to risk of cyber attacks associated with CBDC. Talking about the review of literature. In 2019, Linda M. Skilling already conducted a research on CBDC. In the paper, that it was discussed that the paper extensively covered discussion on risk involved with CBDC, and it also addresses the privacy and information centralization. It talks about the accumulation of sensitive information that may harm the privacy of users. It discusses about the issues pertaining effect on monetary policy, political influence on central bank. The next research was conducted by Peterson Ozili in 2022. It talks about the central bank digital currency in Nigeria, opportunity and risk. It extensively covers experiences of first African country to issue CBDC, which was named as e-Naira. It highlights the risk of digital illiteracy, cyber attacks, data threats, etc. It also talks about the changing role of central bank in the economy. Another research was conducted by David in 2021. It talks about the major benefit of adopting CBDC, that is to promote financial integration, improving transaction efficiency, security and decreasing cost of cross-border payments. It covers extensive idea of China's experience with development of CBDC. It talks about inclusivity and decentralization as important factors to be considered while planning about CBDC. So the entire data of 62 respondents was divided on the basis of various factors. The age group was divided into four types: 18 to 30, 31 to 45, 46 to 60, and 60 and above. Out of 62 participants, 29 participants were from the age group of 18 to 30, 25 from the age group of 31 to 45, 6 from 46 to 60 years, and 2 participants of 60 years and above. So our views on the topic are as follows. We talk about the implementation of CBDC that needs to be carefully examined. It is important for us to understand the perception of people regarding CBDC. In almost all major studies, propensity of cyber attacks is a common concern raised. It also talks about the challenge for central bank as well as people, since most of the people have a habit of using physical cash or maybe UPI. Talking about the data analysis, talking about the data interpretation. The test that was used in the table represents the ANOVA analysis to determine the influence of age group on the perception pertaining to risk of cyber attacks associated with CBDC. The significant value of 0.128 determines that there is a significant influence of age group on the perception pertaining to risk of cyber attacks associated with CBDC. Thus, the null hypothesis that was framed earlier has been accepted. CBDC is a big transformation that the world is going to witness, but it is going to be a bigger challenge for all the central banks to address the concerns pertaining to propensity of cyber attacks. Conclusion. Common concern pertaining to propensity of cyber attacks, bigger hindrance in acceptance of CBDC, biggest challenge for all central banks. RBI must take advanced measures and awareness initiatives. Users also need to be cautious. So these are the few references that have been used for making the research paper. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I am Professor Vineet Upadhyay, will be presenting a research paper on consumer perception towards UPI with reference to online payments. I, along with my co-author, Professor Tanvi Koti, will be presenting this particular topic. Generally, when we talk about the online payments, the common problem that is being faced by the consumers is regarding safety and security concerns. Spread of online shopping has given a huge boost to the online payments. Online payments have not only increased the transaction speed but also have been a boost for the economic activities and a lot of benefits that can be derived by the businesses. On 1st November 2021, UPI recorded 421 crore transactions as per the data published by NPCI, that is National Payment Corporation of India. It speaks volume about the consumer's preference towards UPI. We are talking about an Indian psyche which prefers to carry on hard cash with them, is going through a paradigm shift. Retail transactions today from rupee 1 to rupee 2000 or even more are being made using the application use of UPI. Less cash country India is a primary focus of RBI by promoting this digital payments. When we talk about retail payments, most of the retail payments receiver will require an instant update on the receipt of the payment, which is quite not possible using systems like NEFT and RTGS. Whereas in UPI, while using that particular thing, you can make a particular payment by just scanning a QR code, which do not require you to put up a data like the payments details like bank name, IFSC code and other thing. Just scan the code, make the amount entry and make a UPI pin, and the transaction is being done. The payment will be received by the receiver. So the whole objective of this particular study is to make sure that impact of UPI on retail payments and to analyze the consumer's perception towards UPI for online payments with reference to the safety and security, and also how the age of the consumer is playing a role in this. While studying this topic, we did an extensive review of literature where we came across some paper, and in one of them, Mrs. J. Salome Bakia Jothi, she preferred to talk about that one third of the youth today prefers to use UPI mainly because of the accessibility feature. This study was being conducted in the urban areas of Chennai, where a paper by Dinesh Kolte and Dr. Veena Humbe talked about extensively on the various parameters like use of application, type of application, amount of transactions, and the purpose for the utilization of UPI. But this paper did not discuss about the concerns relating to the consumers. Booklet on Digital Payments, Trend, Issues and Opportunities by Niti Aayog in 2016 talked volume about cyber insurance industry growth in India by 35%, which is a serious concern, and UPI is not an exception to that. UPI also has several concerns of the users with reference to the safety and security when you are making an online payments. Rahul Gochwal in 2017 published a paper which talked about the increasing trend of volume of growth of the users. It talked about the accessibility feature, limited time, and safety as a primary feature for the UPI applications. While studying this particular topic, we conducted a primary study using Google Form with 116 respondents with Geographical Universe of Mumbai University. Users or respondents were asked about the several open-ended and closed-ended questions. Secondary information was collected from various newspapers, magazines, online articles, and the sources for the same have been mentioned at the last in bibliography. We also, while studying this particular topic, floated a null hypothesis stating that there is no significant difference between the age group and the perception towards using UPI for online payment with reference to the safety and security pertaining to an online payment. The respondent who participated in this particular study were between the age group of 18 to 60 and above. 18 to 30 age group had a maximum participation where 70 out of 160 respondents were belonging to the age group of 18 to 30. And while studying this particular topic, we could not have respondents from 60 and above participating into this. While we are talking about this particular topic, it is a dream of digital India which is incomplete without transforming the retail transactions. It was a dream which was being shown by Dr. Raghuram Rajan, who worked extensively on creation of UPI. Large volume and the use of physical cash is inevitable in country like India. But while talking about this, geo demonetization and COVID had a huge impact on the minds of the users. Geo made data very cheaper, which extensively promoted the use of data across the users, as well as demonetization made us to understand that if the physical cash is not available, it is inevitable for us to use digital platforms. While people were getting back to their normal habit, COVID made us to understand that when we are supposed to make a contactless payments, then it is going to be digital platforms which will be making a huge difference. Country like India, where all groups, age groups are not that tech savvy, this is going to be a biggest challenge. Several studies covering various aspects and features of UPI are done, but not pertaining to the safety and security concerns of the users. Hence, it is necessary for us to understand the consumer perception towards the same. We asked respondents to rate their concerns regarding safety and security while making an online payment on scale of 1 to 5, where 1 is where the customer is least likely to be affected and 5 where most likely to be affected. Majority of the respondents rated safety and security concerns on the scale of 4 to 5. While making this particular study, we applied chi-square analysis to determine the influence of age on the perception towards using UPI services for online payment. 0.015 determines that there is significance of age group on perception towards using UPI services for online payment. And that's where the null hypothesis had been rejected. So the conclusion comes out to be that not having any significant change with reference to safety and security concerns regarding online payment. Sparing apart from few incidences, UPI is most trusted by the customers as a safe and secured way for making an online payment. UPI has been a game changer in transformation of digital India. Even Google Pay had to write a letter to Federal Reserve stating that this kind of facility should be incorporated by Federal Reserve in transforming the payment systems in America. Adoption of UPI by various countries will boost the confidence of people and will also make sure that future transactions with international payments can be also carried out with the help of UPI very easily and quickly. These are the particular references used for this particular study. We thank you for your valuable time to understand our study. Thank you so much.
Greetings to one and all present here. My name is Ms. Dharti, and I'm an assistant professor in the Commerce Department at HR College of Commerce and Economics, that's at Churchgate, Mumbai. Today, I'm here to present my research paper on the topic mentioned as above. Let me just quickly share my screen. The topic I'll be presenting on is a study on impact of Instagram marketing on the youth of Mumbai. So before I get started, I'd like to kind of introduce what exactly was my objective behind the study and what were my inferences. So the introduction is basically talking about what is Instagram marketing as a whole. Instagram marketing is when I use Instagram, which is a social media platform, to market products or services online. What I am trying to study here is I want to understand when we post or when we create an advertisement for Instagram, how impactful is the creative factors behind the advertisement. We also want to know what are the non-creative factors and how impactful that is to the youth. Wanted to also understand, does creativity actually have an impact on the youth of Mumbai or no? um, what exactly, since Instagram is such a vast platform, instead of covering all the aspects of Instagram marketing, I have covered Instagram stories as one of the most important aspects according to me, because a youth is interested in watching stories on Instagram. So I want to see, if I create advertisements on stories, how does story ads influence the youth of Mumbai or no? So, my objective was to study the reaction of Mumbai's youth towards Instagram marketing. Also, since I'm talking about creative elements, I was interested in knowing the importance of content writing and graphic designing, because content writers are those who mention the captions which are written below the posts, and graphic designing is the way the look and feel of the advertisement is. I wanted to know if that has an impact on the youth or no. Also, this would help to find the effectiveness of creative versus non-creative elements, and eventually, as a story advertisement, I want to understand the impact of story ads on the youth of Mumbai. So these are my two hypotheses. My null hypothesis one states that creativity in Instagram has no association in attracting customers attention. I also have a second hypothesis which says, the null hypothesis mentions there's no significant correlation between the profession and the reaction to Instagram story advertisements. For this kind of a research, I have followed the following methodology. I've collected primary data from 128 youngsters who are there in Mumbai, for which I circulated a Google form. This is the form that I circulated across, wherein I asked respondents to enter their demographic details like age, current profile, gender, if they use Instagram. Followed by which I asked them questions related to which kind of apps do they want to use, who do they interact with, have they ever done shopping on Instagram. Also wanted to know if what captures their attention first when they actually view the ads on Instagram, and which kind of advertisement influences them the most. Is it post ad, reel ad? My intention was to study story ads, so I've created a Likert scale based on that. And how do they react when they watch the ad? Do they click on, which of these options do they actually click on? So from this, I've gathered some responses, which I have further analyzed, and I have also conducted a heat map analysis using Seaborn. Seaborn is a Python library which is used in data analytics to study data in a better way. So I have used heat map analysis, which is one of the features of Seaborn, for conducting my research. I have also conducted chi-square test using SciPy, which is again another library in Python for data analytics. So this is my tool which I have used for hypothesis testing, followed by which I have analyzed the results, done suggestions, any limitations, I have mentioned those, and finally towards the end, the conclusion. This was my demographic profile. I was able to successfully gather 128 responses in the age group of 15 to 28 is what I am targeting when I say youth of Mumbai, and made sure that the location is Mumbai itself. Since I am a college professor, it was easy for me to get these responses from students and other people around in and around the colleges in Mumbai for gathering and conducting my research. The gender that I have conducted, majorly male and female, are almost equally distributed in the ratio of 46 to 53. And the current profile, most of them were students. Few of them were working professionals, businesses, and other people. So this is my demographic profile. This was the responses that I gathered from the Google Sheets. How often do they shop? What do they feel captures their attention? How likely do they react on the advertisements? And this gave me some inferences in terms of percentages to understand the data in a better format. After which I started using Python. So this is a cross-tab report created in Python, understanding the current profile and the likeliness of reaction on the story ads which people have. So how many people react on which kind of advertisements, and on that basis I have created a contingency percentile table between current profile and the likeliness of reaction on a story ad. Moving forward, I mentioned regarding creativity, right? So I created two options for creative elements, that is the image, the actual post or product image, and the caption text. These two are the creative elements in any advertisement. Post or product image is created by the graphic designer, caption text is created by the content writer. A part of this, there is also brand ambassador, which is a non-creative element, and discounts, which is a marketing push, you can say, as a promotion mix in case if they want to add. So these are non-creative elements. I want to see the impact of the creative elements on the advertisements. And what was surprising to me when I observed this data is almost 75%, 75.78%, that means 3 out of 4 people believe that creative elements does impact or does grab their attention as a customer in when you speak about the youth in Mumbai. So that was a very interesting part which I observed, which also proved my hypothesis, which said that creative elements does have an impact on the attention of the customers or attention of the youth. A part of this, I also created a heat map in Seaborn library. This is how it looks. And you can clearly see that here, when you speak about the likeliness of the story ad, I said my second hypothesis as there is a relationship between the current profile, that is whether they're a student, working professional, on how they react to the story ad. And what I surprisingly found out is most students are interested in looking at story advertisements compared to any other format. So you can see very clearly the blue marking indicates here that students were keen to look forward to a reaction on story ads. Most of them were likely to react to story ads, whereas when it comes to businesses or others, they were not that keen on responding to reaction towards the story ad. So that is one analysis that I found out. Also conducted chi-square test on this, and these are the results of the same. As my p value has come up to be 0.002, I can accept the alternate hypothesis, which states that there is a significant correlation between the profession and the reaction to Instagram story ads. So this was what my study was all about. Suggestions, definitely, since I only focused on the youth of Mumbai, my scope was a little narrow and limited. Also, I only focused on the creative elements, so somewhere I could have also worked on the non-creative elements, which was one of the limitations of my study. I've worked on only story ads as one format of Instagram, and I will further be creating different other research papers where I could speak about reel ads, about posts, etc. So further research could help me to understand the impact of non-creative elements and impact of other forms of advertisement on Instagram, which I believe would be better. The research that I have done so far would assist digital marketers in gathering client feedback, and hence Instagram can actually benefit marketers and become a very powerful tool when it comes to social network marketing strategies. So that's about the limitations. To conclude my research paper, the two slides which I showed for hypothesis testing, the very first was a cross-tabulated report which proves the alternate hypothesis that creativity in Instagram marketing has a significant impact in attracting customers' attention. And the second one was the chi-square test report, which I showed on slide number 10. It shows that there is a significant correlation between the working profile of a student or a youth, and how they react to Instagram story ads. So that's about the conclusion. To create this research paper, I have also taken references as mentioned on the slide out here. So that's it about my presentation. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to showcase my research paper in this conference. Thank you and best regards.
Hasani, lecturer from Srimati CHM College, Ulasnagar. Today I am going to talk on a study on the growth of retail individual investors. Retail individual investors are individual investors. These retail individuals are who buy and sell equity shares, mutual funds or ETF through traditional on or online brokerage firm with the high transaction fees. These retail individuals are increasing drastically due to many reasons. This we will going to see in the coming slides. Objectives behind the study is to find out the growth of retail individual investors and also the factors affecting for the growth. To know the incremental growth of Demat account, which will going to reflect that retail individual investors contribute more in the stock market in few last years. Such methodology, this study is based on the secondary data, and such data is collected from various books, journals, report, article and websites, etc. Moving to literature review, I went through the public domain and I did my literature review where I found research has been done by the various authors like Surinder Gade and Ms. Subha, whose objective was to assess the different strategies adopted by the retail individual for taking decision for investment in equity sector. And also the research has been done about the analysis of behavioral influence of retail individual in stock investing and how their expectations are changing over a period of time. Here I am going to discuss about the factor driving the increase of individual investors in stock market. The factors assuming increasing in the individual retail investor in the stock market due to increase in consciousness of retail individual investor is one of the important parameter or one of the important factor. Also, simple method of investing in the stock market which reflect the growth of retail individual in stock market as young investors taking the lead in the stock market. Also, one of the important crucial measure or factor which is COVID-19. From this slide, I have observed and the data is collected from this that number of retail individual investors are increasing compared to the other client participants in the market. From the figure, it shows that trading volume of different investors in the stock is not in derivative. The 45% volume market shares held by retail individual investor is an incomparable. If the average daily turnover on the market rupees 60,000 crore, then approximately half of it is exchanged by the retail individual investor. In a sense, the retail traders is a primary responsible for the majority of trading. You can observe from this chart. Analysis again the size of the retail individual investors is high in case of derivative market. From this chart, retail investor trade exclusively, which is 39% of the market, that is index future, and only 15% of investors are foreign investor, and I can see that 1% are domestic mutual fund. Next slide, that is increasing in trade volume retail participant, that more demat account leads to more retail individual funds. The rise in the number of demat accounts over a past several years is evidence that investors are regarding the faith in the development of Indian economy. There are more retail investor funds in the stock market is more demat account than usual. From these figures, it shows that in India there were just 3 lakhs new demat account opening in the financial year 2011. This number rose to 30 lakhs in the financial year 2017 and 49 lakhs in the year financial 2020. There were 1 crore 42 lakhs worth of demat account opening in financial year 21. The increasing number of new demat account opening demonstrate how quickly retail investors engagement in the equity market has grown since pandemic. With this paper, from the above research, it can be inferred that number of retail investors has grown tremendously due to various aspects like increased number of demat account, tendency to improve financial circumstances because of COVID-19, due to technological advancement is also one of the important factor for growing number of retail investors, and also financial literacy among the investors is also one of the factor which increasing the growth of retail investors in stock market. With this, I thank you all of you.
A very good afternoon to one and all. I, Shraddha Jadhav, the Assistant Professor of Ismail Yusuf College, firstly like to express my gratitude for presenting the research paper at this international platform organized by Government of Maharashtra Ismail Yusuf College of Arts, Science and Commerce in collaboration with IQAC Department of Commerce and Accountancy. I am extremely honored and thankful for this opportunity. Let me start the presentation by introducing the authors of the research paper. The main author, Ms. Shraddha Jadhav, Assistant Professor, Ismail Yusuf College; Ms. Fauzia Khan, Assistant Professor, Ismail Yusuf College, the co-author; and Ms. Reshma Khan, Assistant Professor, Ismail Yusuf College, the co-author of the research paper. And finally, introducing the topic of our research paper, the study of online buying behavior of college students with special reference to Mumbai city. Online shopping is very common in India, which is a large and strategic consumer market. Online shopping is the easy solution for busy life in today's world. In the past decade, there had been a massive change in the way of customers shop. Despite consumers continuing to buy from a physical store, the users or buyers feel very convenient online shopping. Online shopping saves crucial time for modern people because they get so busy that they cannot or are unwilling to spend much time. As college students are becoming the largest user of the internet and the largest shopper. In order to consistently convert these browsers into shoppers, compete and survive in the long term, it becomes imperative for online retail marketers to understand this college student online shopping habits from the very beginning. College students' buying decisions can also be influenced by personal values, likes, dislikes, and moral and social values. In case of expensive products like a car, a mobile phone, or a house, the economic status of college students is crucial. For college students, what family, friends, relatives, colleagues, siblings, and parents think about a product makes a huge difference in their purchase decision. Only then would you consider your budget for a particular product. Even though a brand's marketing campaign could be on target, if the consumer does not have money for it, he cannot buy it. Further, the literature revealed that only qualitative studies existed targeting college students' buying behavior in Mumbai. Our problem area, which is college students' attitudes towards online shopping, will determine the attractive factors that influence college students to shop online. And those factors will help marketers to formulate their strategies for online marketing respectively. The scope of this study, there are two impacts there. First is positive impact. Positive impact, that is online shopping, save times and efforts, convenience of shopping at home, wide variety, range of products is available, good discounts and lower prices. The negative impact of online shopping is large risks of fraud, credit card scams, hacking, bogus websites and other scams are common. The objective of this research paper to study the effect of students' online shopping frequency on his behavior and impact of behavioral preferred payment method. There was no significant difference in the behavioral characteristics of college students' attitudes towards online shopping behavior. These research frameworks, the study design is descriptive, basic data collected for research. Sample size is 160 students who were college students in Mumbai between the age of 15 to 30. Data are collected using a standardized questionnaire method using survey method. From the above chart, it is interpreted that the maximum number of response are undergraduate college students. Tabular and suitable statistical techniques like percentage and average were used for data analysis and interpretation. After the collection of research data, an analysis of data interpretation of the result was necessary. For the analysis of and interpretation data, the researcher used tabulation, classification, simple averages, graphs, and percentage. The above chart shows that 93.1% of the respondents have an internet connection, whereas 6.9% of respondents not using an internet connection. Second chart shows college students doing online shopping once in a month. The above chart shows 52.5% of college students problems while conducting an online purchase. According to second chart, 18.8% of the respondent felt the delay in delivery was a problem of online shopping. 26.3% of respondent regard the chip quality product as the problem. 9.4% of the respondent regard product damage to be one of the problems of online shopping, whereas 43.1% feel that there are other problems associated with online shopping. And this above chart, 50% of college students are using a debit card and credit card, and 50% of college students are not using a debit card and credit card. In this research, we concluded that the study looks into how buying behavior affects how easily accessible information is to individual risk tolerant they are, how they choose college students for their habits, and how experienced they are in online buying. With regard to this particular student's behavior, the study lay out a theoretical framework based on the importance of demographic factors like age, income, occupation, gender, level of education, etc. In this research, we are finding and indicate that the primary factor influencing each buying behavior are their level of experience. Behavioral factors, gender, education, age group, residential location, ownership of a computer, having an internet connection, and ownership of credit card and debit cards. This study explored the relationship between behavioral biases and students' online buying pattern. These are the references we are using for this research paper. Thank you.